Okay, it's Friday morning, and on my way to speak to a lawyer in Halifax. And I'm making this recording for my good friend Greg Hayes, so I can keep him up to breast because he's in the hospital, and I know he'll get this. Uh, so, without disclosing very much of our background, we'll go back to Lord Nelson in Halifax during the days when Dalhousie was hot, and there's all kinds of activity, and won't get into the details. But uh, years went on, and after the election in 1995, and the trauma that was caused to me by jailing me and throwing me to the street, uh, I ended up coming up to Halifax, and I took up residence on Creighton Street, and right in the middle of everything. And lo and behold, my good friend Greg has got himself an antiques and I guess the auction facility now. But he had quite the enterprise going in the basement with the rag business for all the car dealerships. They were was quite. I think that was very profitable. But the antiques and going to going to these estate sales. Uh, and other things. And there was a group of guys that used to hang around there after hours and had a nice little club atmosphere in the basement. And everybody who was anybody, uh, you had to be cleared, and not just anybody gets in there. Get me wrong, but apparently a lot of these guys from that '97 on era are not with us anymore. And so when I met Greg the second time around in life, he's so good to me. Treated me uh, unreal. It's like I don't know. It's just good friendship, and what we got going with me today. He knows about my antics, and so I'm going to explain to him what's going on with these charges that I have against me. That I'm up here to talk to a lawyer. Um, in 2022, my sister Paula passed away, and she was my older sister. And at that time, there was a lot of turmoil still with the COVID crap, and but because I wasn't vaccinated, I couldn't get on a plane to go to Calgary where she was, and she was dying, and so my spiritual and faith that she'd be okay. That's all right. I had to deal with the grief of not being able to see her, so I walked around Sydney, and as I did, I sort of made 12 crosses on poles, like put a cross on a pole as I walked on my route and pray. People might think that's strange, but I was handling my grief in my way as a Catholic. And it's like the Stations of the Cross. And when one day I thought, as I got downtown, that there were a lot of people hanging around at the Allied Center and all kinds of people in that area. And the cafe called Dr. Luke's, I put a little cross on the side of it. Well, that ignited a demonic force, a demonic entity to be released on me. Now, I have a devotion to Our Lady, and I pray, and she protects me. And I believe that this certain group of people, the alphabet people, uh, they attacked me. They came on force to my house. First, it was the manager who tried to break down my front door, and then it was the leader of the transgender network in Sydney. This guy who's from England, He's the guy that has the charges against me, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what I did was, I was the target because I put a Christian symbol on a coffee shop that's frequented by atheists and all of these perverts. And that ignited, they came, and the manager actually tried to break the door down to get in at me. He's lucky he's still alive. And that didn't stop there. This Veronica Merrifield that's got me charged with hate crimes, because that's how after they wanted me to get violent, they wanted me so that they could arrest me, and I refused to get violent, and they kept attacking my house. There's a statue on the front lawn, about 3 feet tall, Greg, and it's devoted to my mother and Lady of Fatima, and it's very special to me. It's been there for 12 years. The first one was stolen, and then it was returned, and then stolen again, and I had to get a new one, this one, and I had 2 beautiful rose bushes that I cultivated, and it was a beautiful little setting, and they came, these LBGT people, and they came and destroyed it, poured black paint over the rose, killed the rose bushes, tried to destroy the statue, busted my window, attacked me on my front step, 21 calls to the police, and not one charge laid, because the chief of police is queer. Okay, that gets better. So because I wouldn't acquiesce and get violent so that they could put me in jail and take everything, things just got more crazy, because in 2023, and we're talking a year from 2022, when all that activity was going on, I went into business again with these small little brass fiddles, and they boycotted the stores. They went after the businesses, and then they put this big giant by the name of Mike Toomey, who's supposed to intimidate me, kept coming around, said he was going to hurt me, and he was a piece of work. Now they wanted me. I could have done something, but I think I'm a little smarter than that in this situation. I didn't project any type of anger, or I felt sorry for him, actually. But I was taking a hit on the business side. I lost a lot of money, and I couldn't afford to lose, and that put me in another precarious position. And at the same time, my good friend Father Alec McClellan, who I'd made friends with prior to COVID, and I was starting to attend the Latin Mass at his apartment. And I was just overwhelmed by his presence, because he's such a great man, and he took me under his wing. And the whole time that the repercussions from the attacks on me culminated in them trying to again get me out of the place that I built. I built I fundraised, Greg, for back in 2005. I helped to build a 4-apartment building that was devoted to peer support for people who had recovered from alcohol or drug addiction, or had injury or mental health, and if they could live on their own. And but the premise being that neighbors would help neighbors. That was the peer support. So it reduced the amount of people that had to tend to people with special needs, because we formed a bond. I had a guy next to me. His name was Burton Reed, and he was schizophrenic. And they had given him like 30-some shock treatments over the years. And nobody could talk to him because he stuttered so bad. But I met him on the street one night in a rainstorm, and we had coffee. And when he got what he tried to get out of him, and then he calmed down a bit, we became friends, and I moved him in. I said, if you don't lie to me or don't steal from me, then we're good. I said, but you need me, I'm next door. I got my own